I just want to reflect quickly on the themes that are coming through, and it seems like people see a need for massive changes, but a lot of those changes are actually seem to be about the way we think as much as whatever technology we might need. Just moving on to this next question, referring to the Three Horizons framework up here, where do you think we are in our areas of interest? That is, in places you are in your lives, and what disruptive transformation innovations are excited about. So this diagram talks about the current world we have. That's the red one, which is a world in crisis. If we innovate there, we just sort of try and keep things going a bit longer, until it all turns to custard. The second level of innovation in that world in turbulent transition, they said that what we need there is disruptive innovation. So where are the disruptive innovations that you're seeing? And the third one is heading us towards a viable world. Where are the transformative innovations that are there? I mean, Malcolm, for example, you've changed from using plastic made out of oil to plastic made out of plant materials, and you've got these refilling stations.
Yeah, plastic's a tricky one. It's more than just made of plants. It's actually our plastic is carbon capture. Every 1 kg of our plastic takes 2 kgs of carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and traps it. So it's actually we've gone a step. It's not just carbon neutral; it's actually carbon negative. So we're actually taking, every time we make another plastic bottle, we're taking carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. But the bizarre thing about that is actually we've probably spent $1 million over the last 5 years doing that. That could have been in the, not me anymore, but could have been in the owner's back pocket, and getting hardly any credit for it. I mean, it's sort of, but it doesn't mean. But if you're the right sort of culture and the right sort of organisation, you do it anyhow. We do it because it's the right thing to do, and as soon as I found out it could be done, we just had to do it. But in the long term, we're just a leader there. I mean, it's. I think one day everyone will be going down that path because it has potential to just use things like that. But it's where the problem is that most companies are run by accountants, and it really is, and bankers, and luckily we kept our accountant out of the room when we're making decisions, because if EcoStore ever got bought by a multinational, the first thing they'd do is they'd get rid of those bottles, because they'd just come up on a spreadsheet. Oh look, $1 million saved there. Oh, tick. It'd just be as simple, and they wouldn't even be looking at any further than that than a spreadsheet. They wouldn't have looked at the social considerations. They wouldn't look at well, you can save $1 million there. Beautiful. And that is your issue, is that you've got to get away from spreadsheet thinking into human thinking and values thinking.
So a common theme is that we don't actually know how much damage we're doing. We don't monitor to see what impact we have. We don't monitor what effluent, we don't monitor pollution. So if we had a cradle to grave costings, in fact, if we monitored the impacts of everything, we could establish the cost of everything. In other words, straight away polystyrene would not be sustainable because it would cost too much. Because the cost to the planet of maintaining polystyrene is completely off the wall. So we go back to paper. So it would incentivise better behaviours. And then we could start taxing behaviours.
Yeah.
Taxing doing the wrong thing. Taxing the wrong products.
Exactly.
And you don't do that if you have basically cradle to grave costs. At the moment, you just say, McDonald's get the free ride, subsidised wages, no hospital costs, bad food, blah, blah. Everyone's privatising the profits, socialising the costs.
Yeah.
If we had cradle to grave costings for everything, including food, including nutrient coming off farms, including pollution, then that would lead to the non-production of the things that are wrong and the production of things that are better. But I think in some ways the government and regional councils to an extent are still applying 1970s thinking to 2010's problem.
So yeah, So, sorry, just getting back to this innovation thing, though. Is it so? We'd call that maybe a disruptive innovation because it's still got to really bite beyond EcoStore.
Oh, yeah. And also, I mean, it's still plastic too, and I don't even like plastic. But I mean, you couldn't, if you had a bottle of shampoo in a glass container in the shower,
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, you know, just the reality of life.
Problem I have with that diagram is it says world in crisis, but I think a large chunk of the world does not believe that we're in crisis and doesn't believe that we're in crisis to the point of actually acting. You know, when I see Sandra Gowdy at Thames Council saying, or not saying that she believes in climate change, or the West Coast Regional Council saying that they need more evidence before they accept that there is climate change, then I think that's a good indicator to us of where people are. And of course, if you don't want to see a problem, you don't, do you? You know? So I agree with I agree wholeheartedly with the gentleman up there, but I think it's going to require a much bigger crisis that people can see before they are forced to change, in the way that world wars actually have driven innovation and change.
The trouble is with this one, is by the time the crisis comes, it's too late.
I accept that, and that is the problem.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
We have 11 years in
Yeah.
order to get it right. And for that purpose, because we believe that everybody can do a bit, we have created a carbon neutral trust with a carbon calculator for households, where everybody can key in his data for the household, electricity, shuttling, food, waste, and so on, as well as quite unique in the calculator how much carbon they're sequestering with trees and composting, and then you have the net carbon footprint and a lot of advice how you can improve. And it's an eye-opener, for example, how much carbon is created with food. Obviously, a meat eater, a regular meat eater, emits much more. So if anybody is interested to have a look at the website, I have little cards here for you in the end.
Yeah.
Any more comments on innovation or thoughts on innovation?
I mean, I actually think I've actually gone around questioning these people who don't believe in it or can't be bothered with it, and even bloody Hoskins, you know, our big enemy, old bloody Mike Hoskins. I said to him, you know, innovation's our enemy. He says, oh, that's all right, science will fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what he truly believes, that some bright bugger's going to come along with a magic potion and it's going to fix it. And so he don't have to worry about it because some bright scientist is going to fix it for him. And so I think that's a real danger, because basically one of the things I love from the guy from Circular Economy guy was he told the story about if you get all the ants on the planet and you make a big pile of them, and then you get all the humans on the planet and you make a big pile of them, there's much more ants. There's more mass kilograms than ants, and no one's saying, oh, bloody ants are a bloody problem, there's too many ants on the problem. You know? It's not the number of humans on, it's actually our habits. It's our habits. It's, you know, like if everyone on the planet was into regeneration, you'd want more people because the planet would regenerate faster. You know, it's really comes back to because we've got all. So therefore, I don't think innovation is going to be any solution. It's because it's all about changing our habits. Is the big our challenge.
Well, maybe not just technical innovation, but social innovation too.
Yeah, or social innovation. Yeah, maybe that. Yeah.
Yes, Catherine.
Can I just come on the back of what Malcolm was saying about science? And I also want to connect it with the idea that we're talking about innovation at the molecular level. But Graeme, what you said about spirituality, I think, is the big missing piece, which also connects with science. Science on its own, in isolation, is dangerous. But if you triangulate it against spiritual wisdom, traditional Indigenous knowledge that will anchor, us to the correct course, I believe. But we're just not going there. I mean, I was really interested, Graeme, when you said, dare I say, spiritual. And I was like,
Why not?
We can all come out of the closet now about talking about consciousness, because science has been studying it for a long, long time. They've been demonised about what they've discovered about consciousness and how it affects our molecular world. We don't have to dare anymore. We can actually come out and say, you know what, we have to look at the metaphysical innovation side of saving humanity. Because honestly, our disconnect from everything has a lot to do at the basic, fundamental level of our essential nature as spiritual beings, metaphysical beings. I just want to put that out there. It's like the economics.
Seat right here.
But I want to put a shout out too about the economics of things, because it's a mindset and a heart set that we have, that we just can't change the system because it just is so powerful and it's got so much momentum and it's so credible. Bollocks. And we should be, starting with our children at a very young age on all these new areas of thinking and learning and empowered critical analysis, and change the way we look at things in terms of it's a system theory, not a binary kind of decision-making process. There's a whole lot of stuff we can do in the consciousness space, and I just want to put a shout out for the kids who are striking. We should support them because they're not brainwashed yet. They're not going to turn out if we can disrupt their brainwashing. Maybe we'll have a shot. My money's on them, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But so thank you for mentioning the spiritual side, and thanks for raising the economic side. We should have a panel on just economics.
So look, this innovation thing, I think. Yep.
100% support that. And just pick up, Bernadette was talking about work that she's done with iwi and talking to Pēroa and with councils. I've done the same sort of thing. And I understand the value of what you've got to do it. But all it is tinkering with an existing system and trying to get the best deal possible within it. It's not changing the system like the way you were talking about. To give a little anecdote that when back in the 80s, the whole Claymont, the Environmental Fisheries Commission, were looking at an allocation model for fisheries assets. And there was a clear fatigue, and there was all the arguments about, it should be population for the big iwi, or it should be coastline for the coastline. And all this argy-bargy going on. And Kevin trying to keep calm and all. And the guy, John Richard Tane, got up and said, after a whole lot of this stuff, "Ma tangaroa nake, toa toa, na taonga o tuana." In other words, only tangaroa, the god of the sea, should decide how to toa toa is quite a complex word, but it's like fairly distribute and share the bounties of the ocean, which was a brilliant statement. But operationalising that is another matter. It got left behind. But that's what we've got to come back to, is statements like that and say, how do they guide us not to, make little changes within the system, but change the system mindset and paradigm entirely.
In the preparation for the panel today, I was thinking, oh my God, what can I do to get ready for this? I was very nervous, and I thought, I'll just go back to the woven universe. Reverend Māori Master. And I think it was written at the time when they were looking at the Resource Management Act and drafting that, and it was like, nothing's changed. And all of the issues that he was talking about are still very much relevant today. So when you go to the next conference, yes, show this to the attendees and exactly what Catherine was saying. Why is it so difficult to think about our spirituality when looking at the environment? Because it's, he says it so concisely, and it is very much influential in how we relate to our environment and therefore how we care for it.
And we have a Marsden in the house.
Yeah.
Look, so just moving on from that innovation question then, and I apologise for not fixing that spelling, Catherine, in that diagram. But there's also a question that's a little awkward to ask too, because our economic system is predicated on growth, and growth is a sacred thing, and we have to keep growing. Okay? It's like we're on this hamster wheel, But I'm thinking, when I talk to farmers like Linda, it's been quite amazing getting to know these farmers, because they're scientists themselves. They're working by observing what's happening. I'm very impressed. But the question is, so we can have good growth in agriculture, because like New Zealand's losing, is it 7 million tonnes of topsoil a year or something like that? Actually, topsoil, when we started off on this planet, we actually didn't have any topsoil, and it all grew from nothing. And these farmers are growing topsoil. So we can have positive growth. I take that idea and I ask, in these other areas, can we have positive growth too? Can we have good growth?
So facetiously say, what do you mean by growth?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,